It's time to talk NASCAR on Prime Sports Network. It's another Tuesday as we wrap up the NASCAR Cup Series race from Darlington. Don't forget, after this show, we have another show for you that'll be posted a little few hours later on Tuesday. That'll be the preview of the race coming up on Sunday at Kansas. But first, let's wrap up the race at Darlington with Eric Smith of RaceReviewOnline.net. And Eric, look, another fun race to watch. Definitely much better because of the new cars, and it just the beat goes on. You know, we'll get to the finish, which is completely different, but still, the race was interesting because a lot happened.
Yeah, it did. It was action packed. I was glad it was 400 instead of 500 miles. I think it served its purpose. And another Sunday afternoon race. Again, wish it was a little bit sooner, but preferably not to go head to head with F1. But no, we got a 12th race, 10 different winners. It just seems like we're just going to hand out wins before you get many repeat winners.
That's
so,
right.
Logano hasn't really had the most success at Darlington, and he had a good weekend. So I think it goes to show the new car is definitely helping the parity too.
Okay, so let's get started first of all, because really what happened is that all of the good cars, which I think we all wagered on, Chastain, Kyle Busch, and who was the third?
Yeah, Keselowski. Truex, we had Larson.
Yeah, Larson. So Larson, Kyle Busch, and Chastain, I think those were the top three drivers on the day.
Yep.
And they all got wrecked, and we all had them. So one of those days. But let's start off, first of all, with the Chastain situation here. He's just spins out. What happened?
He lost it. So last year, so you'll see right here, it'll go from dark to light. So what happened was Darlington repaved that area. And so it makes it difficult to go from non-paved area to paved, backed off the pave. So that's what caught Chastain, and he admitted that he just lost it in that portion of the track, because you'll see right where his rear end starts stepping out from under him. See, he's on the paved, still on the paved, and look at it starts turning once he comes off of it.
Is that turn two?
It's treacherous. That's turn two. So they're all running up there, and just lose it. We saw that happen all day. Keselowski lost it earlier in the race and took out Kyle Busch because of it. We saw it get Larson. And it got Chastain right there. It's just, it came out and bit you.
And he was the leader, Chastain. He was the odds-on live leader until he wrecked.
Yep. He won that stage right before. That was the start of the final stage, and just lost it. I mean, there's just nothing more he can do. You think you have good car control, and then you go from one racing surface to the other, and
so it's not his fault. It's just
he's just a passenger at that point. It was just circumstances. He's got Hamlin above him. So you had the air kind of being manipulated. And it was just one of those perfect storms that send the back end around, and off he was in the inside wall.
All right. Next up, Truex's big incident, taking out a bunch of other drivers.
Similar. Air.
Hey, look at that. It's turn two.
Yep. It's similar thing. You had the air manipulation. You're on the new pavement. And then you see right there two of the three cars crashing are Toyotas, and that took out, I believe, 4 Toyotas in that one crash, because here comes Bubba right there. There's another one. Just a bad – Toyotas had speed. I was encouraged by their speed. Kyle, we know what he did. He got caught up. Turn 2. There's another Toyota. It just seemed like bad luck. Bad place, wrong time, or wrong place, wrong time for Toyotas there, and that just took out a lot more Toyota fleet, which set up this battle between these two. These two were just clean all day. They kind of capitalized with the best of the rest, and Logano, he felt that Byron wronged him on an earlier restart, and so I don't know why. I kind of agree with Byron here. He didn't need to do that right there. He could have passed him just on merit.
Didn't you think it was funny in his post race both times? He's like, look, he's trying to justify it, but it's in the press conference they asked him about retaliation, and Logano was like, "What retaliation? He did it to me. I did it back. We're even." No, I don't think so, Joe. You might want to convince yourself that you're even, but you are going to get taken out at some point this season. So enjoy the win.
Yeah, because I remember Joey saying, I think it was for it was for the Busch Clash, because they're talking about the football field and people probably going to move you out of the way to win and all that jazz, and what his thoughts of the driver code were. And he said you should race people how you expect to be raced back. And he didn't want to purposely wreck somebody to win a race. That's not who he was anymore. He's grown up. Well, he just did it. He literally just did it. And let's be honest, I feel like you could see how aggressive he was. He thought Byron wronged him on a restart. I think it was a couple of restarts before that. And he squeezed them off of 2. I don't think that is equal, because let's be honest here. Byron didn't wreck Joey Logano on that restart. Logano was still second. Logano stayed second and came back to win. If it was even, then Byron would have wrecked him. But it wasn't even, because Logano still won the race. He had a shot to win.
Yes.
Logano took Byron out of a shot to finish second, because let's be honest too, Logano had the speed. Logano was going to pass him. You saw on that replay, he was coming on him fast. He could have passed. He could have went low past him and slid back up. Byron would have finished second. Rest was history.
Yes.
Instead, you pushed Byron, and Byron lost it, and Byron finished 13th. So not only did you take a top 5, you took a top 10 away from him, and that's where I would have been mad if I was Byron. Like, look, you didn't have to do that.
Let's take a look at, because this is from the Fox. Let's see. I want to get to the point. They're going to show. See, they're going to do it over here. They're going to show the restart.
Right there. Yeah, that's the restart. So I get Logano's great. 26 to go. He squeezed them. I don't know if he squeezed them on purpose, or again, remember what we talked about, that grip. Go back a little bit more and pause it as they're coming off the turn. Right. Remember I talked about that strip right there. Right. See right here. Right. He loses it. He's starting to slide, and here's that marker right there. You can see where it goes from the new pavement to old. That's when he comes up. Remember what Chastain did? Spun up.
And McMurray said that this is what happens when at that area of the racetrack, you are going to be pushed up into the wall. And again, he didn't take him out.
No, he still had a shot to win. That's the difference, I feel like, where I agree with you. It's not even.
No.
Because Logano still stayed second. If you look right here, Byron, Logano, Reddick, they still stayed 1, 2, 3 until coming to the white flag, when Logano moved, basically punted Byron out of the way to win when he didn't have to do that. And you got to look at circumstances. I don't think Byron did that to Logano intentional.
No.
I think his car naturally washed up, where Logano's was intentional. And he admitted it was intentional. So
didn't Kyle do something similar to Logano earlier in the race when they were both battling for the lead? And Kyle, that's again, same thing. He kind of moved up, pushed Logano into the wall. Same thing. Logano had it just happened 100 laps earlier.
Yep. So I think that's just the byproduct of NASCAR. Guys are closer together, restarts, it happens. But hey, I don't think it condones for Logano just to go.
No, that's ridiculous.
But for us, I like it because we get to talk about more drama in NASCAR. Yeah. But for the drivers, I wouldn't be too happy with that.
We're going to get something
Byron
going.
Still owes, Byron still owes Logano one. Whether Logano feels it's just Byron, and I think everybody else is watching that same replay. It's like, no, that's not even.
No.
That has not. Now, if he just passed him or slightly moved him out of the way, and Byron finished second, then yes, I'd be okay.
He easily could have done. He could have avoided this. He didn't have to do it.
No,
he screwed himself for the next time.
You know what makes because you know what makes you even? He's got the trophy in the end.
That's it.
He won. You're even. You won. Let it go, because now you've opened the door for Hendrick to retaliate. Yep. Somebody could retaliate for it. So,
and it doesn't even have to be Byron.
Nope, it could be somebody else. They could. Hey, I got your back.
Yep.
So we'll see if this goes further. But again, we got Kansas this week. You got the All-Star race. Then you got Charlotte. There's not really an opportunity for payback coming up. Maybe Gateway in June.
The long season.
I know the Gateway would love that. But Byron won't forget this.
Not at all. And look, I also think that I was a little bit surprised. Wasn't Logano the one about a month ago? I forget which race it was. I don't know why I think it's Logano, where I think it was a short track. When late in the race, he tried to bump the driver ahead of him.
Byron. It was Byron.
It was Byron.
It was Martinsville.
It was Logano and Byron?
Yep. When Logano mentioned after Martinsville that he wished he would have hit him harder because these cars were so stable.
All Logano had to do at the press conference was say, what happened the last time was I didn't hit him hard enough. I just tried to hit him a little bit harder. He could have just lied. Yeah. And he would have gotten away with it, I think, because I would have believed it.
I would have too, because he just said it a month ago. Yeah. He's like, hey, I learned from Martinsville. I knew if I nudged him a little bit, it actually propelled him forward Martinsville. Yeah. So I just nudged him. It's my fault. I nudged him too hard. And if he wants to owe me one, he owes me one.
Yeah.
And you could have played the good
It would have been over.
But now you played the villain. Now everybody, hey, you went backwards.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, this is why, Joe, this is why I said before, I know he wants to. When he retires, he is going to fight tooth and nail to get a job as a broadcaster. And I'm sorry, and I know NASCAR is going to give it to him. We don't want people as broadcasters that nobody likes.
No. For him, his best role is to play it. We talked about it. Guys play nicely too much. We need a villain. So, hey, you know what? At this point, if that's what you're going to say, live up to it.
Yes.
Play the villain
Do it.
role.
Why not?
Play it helped Kyle Busch. Either love him or you hate him. And he's made a career out of that. Logano has always teetered that line.
I would respect him more.
Own it. Yeah.
Because like you said, Kyle had no problems being the villain. Logano was kind of like like you just said, he's kind of trying to hide behind that role. Just go for it, man.
Just own it. Yeah. And let's be honest, let's call a spade a spade. You had no wins this year. You haven't won on an oval since a paved oval, not a Bristol dirt or Talladega, since 2020. You've had 9 different winners. You were running second. You wanted to win. Let's call a spade a spade. Yeah. You moved them out of the way and you wanted to win. Just own it.
Yes.
It worked. You were a winner. You're in the playoffs. Let's just own it. That's exactly what that's what was going through his mind.
You would think. Somebody should have whispered into him before the press conference and said, well, then again, he kind of let the cat out of the bag right when they stuck the mic in front of him right after the race. Yeah. So I guess there was nothing left to do, but just take it. Okay. So anyway, that's Darlington. And the good news is, in the past and even we said this last week, well, it's the first race of the playoffs and it's Darlington. After what we just saw last week, good. First race of the playoffs. That's going to be awesome.
Hey, yeah, it worked. That car, I think, again, it provided a little more parity because the normal guys were still good. They didn't win. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Yep. They didn't win. You had a guy that isn't statistically great there. He did win. Now we've got 8 winners and 11 races of double-digit odds this year. So it still continues, and it sets up for our next show for the Kansas race that I looked last year. This is where the parity comes in. Kyle Larson was 2-1 going to the Kansas race last year. He's a co-favorite right now for the same exact race, and he's 7-1. So it goes to show you the parity is the same guy. Nothing's changed. He's in the same sponsored car. Oh, well, the car has changed, and there's more. That's the only difference. Because remember, Kansas last year, we're talking the exact same. Hey, look at all these new winners this year. Kyle ended up winning Kansas. Busch, Kyle Larson dominated. Well, we go back in the playoff race, nothing changed. He's 2-1. Well, now we've got the same race that we were at last year. The guy that was 2-1, 7-1. That proves that
it's crazy. It's really going to be hard for us to handicap, but it's almost like I prefer that because it's like golf's harder because you have a deeper field. But what happens is when you pick the winners, you can go a couple of weeks sometimes without winning. As long as you pick one every 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to get ahead usually because the odds are so high. Kind of the same thing with NASCAR. You could go now a couple of weeks without winning as long as you hit the right guy at the right time and you have enough invested in it. And that makes it better. This is clearly better, even though it's harder to handicap. It's clearly better for us.
It is. You're starting to be able to eliminate some guys now. Other than now Stenhouse's came along all of a sudden, but you're starting to be able to really kind of that 20 to 30-1 line. Like, okay, those guys probably aren't going to win. It seems like the big teams somebody from the big teams are probably going to win. You just don't know who. Now you're trying to eliminate, all right, which guys from these big teams can I eliminate? Because if you look at the winners this year, all 4 Hendricks, 2 Penske's, 2 Gibbs, Stewart Haas, Trackhouse. That's it. So your top teams are still winning. it's more parity among them.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. You're just getting better odds for those guys still because nobody's dominating.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is what we want.
Yep.
Give me a favorite on a cookie cutter track at 7-1 any day of the week.
And by the way, last thing, we talked about this last week too, and this is the big change. Remember how easy it was at Darlington? You start on the outside, you're easily going to be the leader. So anybody that comes out first after the pits at Darlington is going to lead right after the green. That wasn't the case with the new car.
Nope.
The new car, it was hit or miss. And again, the drivers understood what they had to do in order to if you were on the inside, what you had to do in order to take the lead, which was you had to slide up a little bit and get aggressive with the driver on the outside. And that's what made it an exciting race and why we got fireworks.
It did. Exactly, because the guys on the inside lane could fight back. It wasn't just you were lame duck.
Yep.
It opened it up. So, it to me was much better compared to what we saw in the past. So, kudos.
All right.
Keep it going.
That'll wrap it up. We will be back with our next show in a few hours. Don't forget, questions or comments, please subscribe. Let us know what you think about the race. If you agree with us, I'm sure you do as race fans. It was exciting. Who did you believe? Logano, Byron. We'll be back, though, to preview Kansas coming up, like I said, and posting that up in a few hours. We're going to get right to it, though. So, Eric, I'll see you back on the air in a few minutes.
Yep, sounds
Appreciate
good.
it.
See you then.